By the title of this video, I'm sure you're intrigued. I've went through years of my life where I felt very close to God and other times where I didn't feel good enough to have a relationship with Him. This past year, I have longed for a closer relationship, but I did not put in the work that was required to make that happen. So this year, I'm making a prayer board, not to be confused with a vision board. This is inspired by the creator Ashley Hetherington, who has a wonderful community of her own and tons of Christian content here on YouTube. I'm going to link her channel below and also the video that she put out last month on prayer boards. As for me, I'm just a girl trying to get closer to God. I planned to make this particular video quite a while ago, but I was always waiting for the right time, and I was procrastinating on even making this board in the first place. And so when I was going down my list of ideas and things to film for this new year, God was like, we're really gonna do another year of putting me on the back burner. So I'm gonna cut while I explain a few things. So I don't really take New Year's resolutions seriously, whether I set them or other people set them, and I'll get into that later. Now that it's February and all the hustle and bustle of the new year is basically done, most people have fallen off the New Year's resolutions that they weren't serious about. So I figured that it was a great time to introduce the alternative, which is looking less into yourself and looking just straight up just to God. When I think of New Year's resolutions, it's like a tale as old as time. The holidays will get people into a space where they feel like they need to make really rigid and drastic changes because the previous year has come to a close and maybe they didn't accomplish as much as they set out to that year. I think it's a really unkind and unfair way to treat yourself, especially going into a new journey or a new transitional phase. Too much pressure. January marks the new year in the calendar for us, but I don't feel like it's the best time to start a bunch of new routines for various reasons. Honestly, the best time to start over or set new goals is when you feel the seasons of your life changing. And if you feel like making a change, don't wait until the next calendar year to do it. For me, it's always September that's kind of a pivotal point in the year for me. It's not super close to the holidays. It's like kind of the calm before the storm. So I can really think clearly and reevaluate how I've been doing for the last few months. It's not always September. I do tend to check in with myself every week, every month, just making sure that I'm really in tune with myself spiritually and just my purpose and making sure I'm still on the right path. Since becoming a little older and wiser the past few years, well, as wise as I can be at this age, I've kind of let go of having rigid goals for myself. So basing my goals off of metrics and really strict things, that's something I just don't do anymore. So yeah, I've never really been super rigid. Another hot take I have for you is that I also don't believe that failure is a real thing. There's really only growing and learning, but I digress. That's going to be for another video. For me, 2023 was the year of letting go. And I mean really letting go of things I thought I wanted, of relationships that hit their expiration date, and of problems that were not mine to hold on to. I have seen just in the online space that a lot of people are feeling really good about 2024, and I feel the same way. I feel like every single year is an opportunity to just soak in everything that you can. You really have to be open to your blessings. On to a really important part here. Let's talk about vision boards versus prayer boards. Vision boards are associated with manifestation, glorifying yourself, and basically not fulfilling God's will, but fulfilling your own desires. To me, a vision board is really reinforcing the thought that you have the power and control to make these things happen for yourself. And the enemy loves a person who thinks they're paving their own path because it means that they will literally pave in any direction it is to get to where they want to go. You're easily manipulated, easily led astray, easily led away from the path that God is trying to actively pave for you. And a lot of times when I did that for myself, I just found myself really lost. Now let's get into a prayer board. A prayer board is filled with images, Bible quotes, Bible passages, written notes, prayer requests, and just all things that are God focused. It's really focusing on what God can do versus what you can do. Not only is it based in faith, but it's really reinforcing this idea of faith, and it challenges your faith as well. Unlike a vision board where you place everything on the board yourself from your own vision, all of this is from God's vision. Because if you're a Christ follower like me, you know that all vision comes from God. I can testify to this. So many people can testify to this. God will literally put things in your life, in your mind, ideas in your heart that you did not have there for yourself. He will legit plant ideas and thoughts into your head. You just have to have that relationship. You just have to listen. And you have to be open to a plan that is not yours, a plan that you do not have full control over. Whatever insight and vision God gives you for your board or even just for your life, we follow this for God's glory. So to circle back, the board is for you, not necessarily about you. Everything you accomplish should be for God's glory at the end of the day. Okay, so now I'm gonna make the board. So I'm pretty much putting all of this stuff in my lap so that you guys can see, and I'm just gonna talk through a lot of it. I'm gonna spread it out just a little bit so that I can see what I'm working with and how I want to arrange it. So I zoomed out a little bit. First things first, let's get some push pins in here. Just gonna start with a few. I think what I want to start with are my 2024 goals, and I'll get into all of them because every single image and quote that I have here ties into this goal list right here. Number one, I'm going to start with my spiritual goals. On my list, I have spend time with God, read and pray more, and become more involved in community and make friends in that area. So this is basically Bible reading, planning out my reading and just taking notes and really diving deeper into the word. And then this is basically like a Bible study. I really wanted to find community moving here, and I think I'm off to a really good start with that. I've planted a few seeds, so I just want to make sure that I keep all of that in mind and I continue to pray over that, so that whatever God has for me in this area, it really comes to pass. I'm going to put this Bible quote up with it too. It's Matthew 6:6, and it says, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." And this just relates to my quiet place. I am making my quiet place my closet. In the mornings, I'm just going to go into my closet and read in there and also pray in there. It'll just be a really nice place for me to set my intentions for the day. Next up, I'm actually going to do personal goals. For these goals, I want to prioritize structure and rest, which I'm already really good at, but I think I can take it a step further. I want to explore and adventure. I just moved to Austin, so I really want to be able to explore the city and all that it has to offer. And then have a me day once a month, which is something I kind of already do, so I want to keep it going. Another thing that subconsciously that I want is community. Obviously, I put that in my spiritual place right here as well, but I really do want a nice solid friend group as well. Or maybe just a few different places where I have different types of community. So that would be really nice. And following along with that, I actually have a quote here that says, "Isolation pulls away from the community while solitude gives us the energy and strength we need to fully be present in the community." And I think I might put it up somewhere. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but there are a lot of times where Jesus just goes to be by himself. And I think for a long time, I kind of took that as isolation is okay. And really, I found that over the years, I've been isolating myself instead of going into solitude and having that time with God. Isolation can really be a scary place. I think we got a lot of that from the pandemic, sadly, but isolation is really dangerous and it's so different from solitude, and I feel so blessed that was revealed to me because I've been isolating myself for a long time and it's not fun. It's lonely, it's sad. And yeah, like maybe I'll dive into that deeper in some other type of video, but this is something that I need to pray on and want to keep in mind going forward with this year, because I feel like it's going to be pivotal now that I've had this realization between, you know, isolation versus solitude. And solitude is really what I'm going for. So next up, this isn't on my goal list, but it's actually that I'm getting married this year in 2024. Really exciting. I got engaged in 2023, so it's kind of a quick turnaround time, especially for like the marriage climate type of thing where like it's so hard to get a venue. We actually decided to have sort of like an elopement slash micro wedding. This is actually the chapel that we're gonna get married in. This is a picture of our hands from our engagement shoot, and this is something that we're both really looking forward to. I did have pre-engagement counseling. It's made all the difference in my life, in my relationship. I realized that I was just blocking myself from happiness and holding on to a lot of things that were hurting me, and I really didn't even realize that like I still had these things in the back of my mind. So anyway, all that is to say is obviously I'm really excited for this next year and to start my marriage. And you guys have seen LJ in a few of my videos. And I feel like this year we're really going to go forth with joining in a lot of different aspects. So I'm excited for you guys to see the joint projects that we're going to have together too. I think it'll really give you guys a glimpse into our relationship as well. I think I'm going to put my goals right here because it's kind of centered. I feel like it's a good place to put them. Next up, I'm thinking of doing physical, and right here you see that there's a lady working out and just some gym equipment. I feel like in the past there have been a lot of things in the way of my physical health. It's just been so hard. I had a job that really stressed me out in previous years. Sometimes I felt like I could never make the time I wanted to get my body moving. So this year, pretty much the same as last year, I want to move my body 20 days out of the month. Again, it's not a super rigid thing to hold myself to, but you know, when it comes to fitness, what really matters is your consistency. The more frequently you work out, the more you're going to see results. You know, what really matters is that you show up. It doesn't have to be 5 days a week. It doesn't only have to be on the weekdays. Just getting those 20 days in a month is better than me holding myself to going to the gym 5 days a week and falling short and feeling bad about myself. So 20 days. It's easy to do. You'd be surprised. I'm gonna do career, and I feel like if you look at these pictures, it really doesn't say much. This says fulfillment, and then this is really just a girl feeling the sunshine on her face. And this to me just feels a little bit like freedom in a picture. It really spoke to me. And career goals for this year are just to be fulfilled with what I'm spending my time doing. I mean, last year I had this goals. I want to get a new job that pays what it should pay for my industry, and I feel like it was a goal that was like very demanding. So now, after digging really deep this year, I just want to be fulfilled with what I spend my time doing. Whatever it is, whatever that looks like, I just want to be fulfilled in that, and I want to be happy. And I know that the rest will fall into place. Next up, I can tell this was meant for a top corner or something, but I didn't give myself the memo, so I'm gonna try to fit it down here. But basically what this is, it's my mental health goals for this year. And what they are to support myself mentally and manage crisis and stress. I feel like I've really learned how to do that this year. I still have slip-ups, don't get me wrong, but honestly, I just manage myself a lot better than I used to in the past. So any path forward for my mental health getting better is a win in my eyes. My other goal is do not stretch myself too thin and listen to my body. So this right here is listening to my body. This right here is getting up in the morning at a decent time. I'm trying for 5 a.m. on the weekdays. It just gives me a lot of time. I already make to-do lists, so that really helps me. And like I said, just manage crisis and protect my happiness. And last but certainly not least, something that I always want to pray over is just the content that I'm making on this channel, making sure that it really aligns with my values and really speaks to the audience that I'm trying to grow here. Put a play button because I feel like overall that's just like a very long-term goal. You know, I'm having faith in what this channel could be and what it will be in the future if I keep doing what I'm doing. Even just the channel has brought me a lot of fulfillment. I feel like I've kind of fell off with that in maybe the last few months because I put a lot of pressure on myself to create, but now I feel like I'm trying to get back to really having that love for creating, and just talking to God during this time of creating impressionable content is really important to me. Putting my little finishing touches over here. I say this looks really, really nice. If you made it throughout this whole video, I just want to thank you so much for watching. If you are not a Christian or Christ follower, I definitely want to thank you for watching. I know how difficult it can be to be open to something new and to something that is just so blind faith. I know that I'm personally not the type of creator or even the Christian creator aesthetic that's like nice and soft voiced and just really hopeful all the time. God has just called me personally to make content that really reflects myself and also glorifies him at the same time. And I've just been told to just come as I am, you know, my good days, my bad days, everything in between. And I'm just here to share the good word and to encourage people. I hope this lit a spark in someone who really needed it. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, also let me know in the comments. Please like the video. Be sure to subscribe. It really helps support this channel. And I will see you in the next video.